Hello, everyone. I'm Reza Rad from Radacad, and we are here with another interview with Microsoft Fabric product team with Mohammad Ali. Hey, Mo, how are you?
Yeah, it's great to be here. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to have you here, and thank you for your time. Really appreciate that. So I know that you are in the Power BI team, but some of our audience might not know that. So can you please introduce yourself, like your role in the team, which part of the product you own?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, hey everyone, my name is Mohammad Ali. I'm a GPM for the Power BI product team. So, my team look after the Power BI desktop, the Power BI service, and also everyone's favorite feature, Copilot.
Yes, yeah, Copilot is something that we all talk about these days. Sounds great. So Power BI has came a long way, right, from since 2015, and even before that, right? And
Yeah.
you've been pretty much in the product team since the beginning, as far as I remember. Um, but the things has changed. Like Power BI now, part of the Power BI work is the modeling side, which is separate. Part of it is now Power Query side, which is separate, and the part that is your side of things is mostly the area related to the Power BI desktop experience and Power BI web experience. Am I right?
Yeah,
In
that's right. Yeah.
right, correct, right. So we had some announcement in this area, and as you said, some of those are Copilot related, but some of those are not. So what is your favorite feature you want to talk about first?
I mean, they're all my favorites. I can't particularly
Not
pinpoint.
picking a favorite kid.
I can't pick a favorite. My team will kill me. I'll kind of cover like we had a really good FabCon. Like I mean, for those of you who didn't get to attend, I'm really sorry. You guys missed it. Like there were people standing, people sitting in the aisles. Like the room was packed. Well, we did a lot of the Power BI, the core note for Power BI. The way I split it up, the keynote or the core note was I talked about creators and desktop users,
Mhm.
and we have a ton of stuff there. Like I announced improvements to desktop performance, improvements to modeling performance. We showed you Power Query online working against a semantic model. So now you can just go in and create a new semantic model end to end in the web, and we showed a sneak peek there. So now we said Mac users rejoice. You heard some statements like those. So we had a ton of announcements there, and you can also create direct lake models directly in desktop. So before you could only edit them, now you can create them, and I think this really opens the door of really just showing you that we really care about desktop. We're really trying to improve it, and desktop's not going anywhere. Like we're still highly committed to making sure it's the best development tool for Power BI. And so we had a ton of announcements there, and we showed demos for this. And I'm sure they're going to post a video for it soon, so you guys will get to see the amazing demos that we showed at FabCon. So like, for the creative stuff, Reza, we did an amazing job. I felt like in terms of showing, and then obviously I didn't get to show everything. Like we've got visuals improvements coming as well. A lot of other things are coming. Like mapping is also improved as well. So we had a ton of announcements in the creative bucket.
Thank you, and thanks for mentioning that the desktop is not going away, because that is still kind of like a concern for some people. That a lot of us Power BI developers, we used to do things in desktop. I'm still building my solutions in desktop, even though the web experience is quite good. So this means that the desktop is going to stay like this, right? It's not going to be discontinued anytime, as we know.
Absolutely. No, no, no. So like we are, I'm targeted for growing desktop. Like it's not going anywhere. I'm not targeted to do anything else with it.
Yes.
I kind of want to share perspective here. Like this is a great question, Reza, that you've asked me before. Is how do we think about desktop? And for me, it's a choice you make. You either want to use desktop or you want to use a service. What we tried to do in the last couple of years is we want to make sure that the code bases are the same. So like having to then maintain feature gaps is why people kept thinking, oh well, we're investing in web. It's because web had so many missing features that
Mm.
we could only do in the desktop. And so our goal was to re-platform a lot of that stuff so that we could make sure that we could bring desktop and web to parity. And then as we add features, we don't have to make a decision between desktop or web. It's a personal choice or personal matter. And so you've kind of heard me say this. And that's really why you're seeing a lot more web love. It's just we've got so many missing features and capabilities there. A lot of our services and code are not there. And so there's just a lot of things that we had to do. And I'm pleased to say we're so close to fulfilling realizing that vision that we set ourselves maybe 5 years ago. And we're much, much closer there now than we ever was.
That is right. Yeah, and the experience is getting better and better as
Yeah.
see throughout the month. Now, and a question that I often get, especially about the web experience of Power BI, is that now that everything is like capacity based, we have fabric capacity for everything. So if I go and build a really large model with quite a lot of calculation, things like that in Power BI web experience, building that model, not hosting the model itself, the process of building it is going to use some of the compute power, right? So that is one of the concerns that people are thinking, like how they can actually monitor this, like the compute usage of when we go and build something.
Yeah, and this is just one of the differences between desktop and the service, right? Like in desktop, you're using your local PC to consume the resources, right? Now, when the model is in the web, the benefit you get is like we have very large VMs that host these models, right? So you're not working with your laptop. You've got the power of the cloud at your fingertips. And I'm not sure if we found the right balance yet, but we're trying to balance between making it affordable in terms of like the cost and CUs and all that other stuff. And we're trying to really just keep the same model that we have even for consumers is you just pay for what you use in terms of queries. But I do think at some point we're going to need to think about like how do you like as more and more people use the web, which is I'm hoping more and more people use it, is like you can still create a model in Pro. We don't stop you from creating a model in Pro. The only reason why you need premium is if the model size, like if you're going to use large models, like not just a model that can't fit in your laptop machine, but a model that exceeds like hundreds of gigs. Like if you want to use 30 gigs, 50 gigs, or 100 gigs, you want to use that. So for me, it's something we're still kind of ironing out. We kept a simple model, is just whatever CUs you consume are what we're going to use. And our goal is, again, like we've seen TimDoView, right? Like there are a lot of people that have very large models, right? And then they use other tools, third-party tools. And I do want them to use Power BI Service to kind of fulfill that need that they've not had. And look, if it comes out to be cost prohibitive or you're trying to like handle like, I'm just making an edit and I just want to validate it, I think there's many things that we can go and do to make that life and journey simpler for you guys.
Yeah, so it definitely has some pros. Like, for example, as you mentioned, if it is a super large model that I cannot build it in my desktop with the power of cloud engine, I can build it in Power BI Service. So that's the pro side of it, of course. Also talking about what you mentioned about some new visuals and things like that. And Miguel Myers and the team, they are really good at working on some of these visualizations. So tell us about that side. So what is the, let's say, vision behind these like new sets of visuals that is getting added?
So I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to be the best person to give this justice. Miguel came up with what I think I can't remember, it's called something vision board, a vision of like how we plan our visual space. And a lot of the improvements we're making now is just improve the existing core visuals. If you look in the vision board, you'll see there's a bunch of new visuals planned that we want to go and release. And so what you're going to see in the next 6 months is I think we've got a lot of visuals that are in preview. We've got the new card visual, the new slicer visual, the new list visual, the improvements to table and matrix are coming as well. So our goal is to just finish what we started is really the next 6 months goal. But we're trying to follow track what the vision board that Miguel shared. So you're going to see hopefully more and more investments in the visual space over the next 6 months. You're going to hopefully see a lot of things get to GA. There's a lot of things in my list that are going to get to GA hopefully next semester, which is from April to October. So hopefully at the end of October, you're going to see more GA stuff. And field parameters is also hopefully going to go GA then as well. So that's a big ask that we keep getting is when that's going to go GA. And I'm hoping we'll make a lot of progress. And in what I call core BI, we're making a ton of investments in there to hopefully get that over the line.
That sounds great. That's amazing. And you also mentioned about Copilot. Of course, we have Copilot experience in multiple places in Power BI, in the visual end, in the web experience, in the Power BI desktop. So tell us about how that part is going to work. Because from user point of view, we see this as like Copilot enabled, tick. This is just easy as that. But behind the scene, it's quite a lot of work to have Copilot enabled.
Yeah, I mean, look, what we showed at FabCon was two key experiences. We showed you an experience for creators, which I think surprised many is for Copilot or LLMs to work on a random data model is quite a hard problem. I don't think it's a completely tractable problem in the sense that if I was to join your organization, Reza, and you had a model in your organization, the chances are someone who understands Power BI reasonably well, could pick it up is actually quite difficult on day one, on day zero, without any sort of prior, like, here's some documentation, here's the thing. So what we announced at FabCon was we're going to give you the ability to do Copilot tooling, or configuration, I should say, which basically allows you to set instructions up. You can choose which part of the schema Copilot should be using or not. And you can also set up these amazing things called verified answers, where you can basically, you're training Copilot by saying here's the sentence that my user might type, like product leaderboard or product sales chart or whatever. And this is the visual you should be returning. And what we do with that visual is, not only do we use it to return an answer, like if you match it, like you ask for the product leaderboard, Reza, I'll give you this answer. That's easy. But what we'll use it, effectively use this to actually configure and prepare, like what we call few shots, is to give the model few shots to be like, hey, here's what I have or I'm aware of. Here's some additional metadata that Reza has provided you. Now use this to answer questions. And what we saw is a drastic improvement in performance. And so a lot of people have been asking me, say, when is Copilot going to become more reliable or more accurate? And with tooling is our answer for that. And obviously, it hasn't released yet. It's releasing very soon. We announced a lot of improvements of how creators can really prepare their content to make it work with Copilot. And that's really been our focus area in the last 6 months, just before FabCon. We also then showed you is once you do that work, we're going to have an office-like experience in Power BI. And even inside, like we're going to eventually bring that into Office, is you can just go and type in any question. And our goal is to find the data set or the report, give you the answer directly in view. And it's funny because Arun, our CVP for Azure Data, he tests, and he's been a great advocate for Copilot. And he was asking things. He was like, I've forgotten how this report resembled. Let me just type in what I thought it was. And it was able to find the content, what he needed. And he calls this like, I don't know, like the Chat GPT for enterprise. Like we're really trying to really get there, where we're really getting to a view where you can just ask any question there. So both are needed. Like without any sort of context, Copilot won't understand the context of the data and will make mistakes. And we believe both will get there to really help us. So that was the main key announcements in Copilot. I think we're finally addressing a lot of the user feedback. And then finally, we announced that we're bringing Copilot to all SKUs, not just F64 and above, F2, F4, F8, F16.
Yeah, that is really
and so that got a loud cheer. And that's really, we really see Copilot being a way to help improve productivity and help users get faster insights. And that is our core promise or our mission. And that's the mission statement we're trying to realize with Copilot.
Yeah, and that is definitely helpful. And I also like the example you mentioned that if I join a company day zero, I know anything, I don't know anything about your model. And one of the ways that Copilot can help is that situation. Because if it is just creating a DAX measure for me being in this company for 3 years, I already know the process. So that might not be the best way to get help from the Copilot. But that was a really good example that resonates well. And as well as the Copilot experience for the end users, right? Because we have also the same thing in Power BI apps, the Copilot experience of that. So as an end user, I can go and analyze the data with asking questions, getting responses, right? Are there any more work happening on that side, or pretty much that is a complete?
No, like as in the experience that we showed you in Home is we want to bring that to apps as well, so that you can just query the entire app. Like it's just the Home queries everything. If you want to get down to a specific app and query the app, we're going to bring those experiences together. So we are making still a lot of investments in apps. Apps is one of the gifts that keep on giving. I think a lot of people love apps for the fact that it's a great packaging story in Power BI. And like my VP accesses multiple reports. I'm sure multiple do as well. So I really see that being addressed in this upcoming 6 months that we're working on.
That sounds great. So talking about what is coming in the roadmap. So what do you have planned, which is exciting, and we should be looking forward for the next few months or year?
I mean, we haven't. Well, a lot of the stuff that we shared at FabCon was sneak peek. So we haven't released the tooling, and I'd say that tooling is going to be the game changer. I think it's going to really start making Copilot viable in cases where you're dealing with C-level execs as well as analysts. Like, I think it's going to really be helpful. Our goal is eventually we want to support all kinds of questions. The questions where you're like, why did this happen? What happened? And have really Copilot do what we call reasoning. And you might have seen this with ChatGPT, is actually do more of the reasoning aspects of things. So we're really headed towards that goal where Copilot's helping. From the product perspective, I think Miguel shared a 5-year plan for visuals. And if you look at our roadmap, we have a very strong commitment to making sure the core BI product, forget AI for a second, forget things. I think a lot of the things you're going to see from us is we're going to finish a lot of the things that you're like, why is this not gone to GA? Or why is there still some paper cuts here? So we're really focused on just making sure that we deliver continually the best user experience that we can, because we know that the creators, people spend a lot of their time in desktop. If you look at the most time spent in the product, I think it's probably in desktop. And it makes sense, right? Like a lot of people are building highly convoluted reports, right? And so I want to make sure that we continually deliver on those promises, and continue to make progress. And look, there's a lot of integration with Power BI and Fabric. You've seen a lot of announcements there as well. We're going to keep churning on those and like tuning them out, like delivering on those features. But again, there's a lot of just stuff that we announced at the conference. I think if I look at the announcements that we made for Copilot specifically, I gave some hints to like there'll be more configuration that we're going to give, right? But we want to also give you usage data, like know how people are using Copilot in the organization.
That would be really
And
helpful.
so again, we want to complete the vision that we set forth a couple of years ago, and so we are working towards that. And I'm hoping more and more people will start adopting it more. Will you find the configuration helpful to really control Copilot like a normal human being, like just give it sufficient training? And I think that we're going to do that. And then there's also just some exciting things where we're giving configuration to creators. We also want to give configuration to consumers. And so like you may have seen some announcements by the agent stuff in Office.
Yes.
Like Office now starts to learn from you, learn who you are. And I think we're going to bring some of those capabilities in Power BI as well.
That would be exciting. And some of these that you mentioned bring me to this discussion that sometimes I get the question from people that from the time that Fabric announced, there isn't really much happening in the Power BI world. Power BI is like left behind, things like that. But the things you are mentioning is showing that there are a lot of things happening. And on the other hand side, we should also consider that this is a major product, right? It's been in the market for 10 years. We have tons of features added to it. And it is quite like in separate areas, right? But can you share a little bit lights on that side? Like, what is your view of this?
Yeah, I mean,
Power BI going to be left behind?
it's funny, everyone. I get this is my number one question that I asked, and in general, when I'd like to give you some history here, right? Like the reason why Fabric was formed is Arun, the CVP for Power BI at the time, the SaaSifying of Power BI, which was like 3 separate products initially, right? It was Power Query, Power View, and Power Pivot.
That is right.
And bringing those teams together to kind of go on a shared mission was what made Power BI what it is today. And with Fabric, we're doing that at a larger scale, right? And so naturally now we just have so many more products to talk about. Like it's a single unified platform. Fabric is just Power BI plus, right? It uses a lot of the same infrastructure. It uses the same machines, like just a lot of reuse, right? And so I think what happened was people saw less and less focus on Power BI. By consequence of we had other things to talk about. It didn't mean we divested in Power BI at all. We actually increased the investments in Power BI. But also, I'd say that, and I think we started getting this feedback maybe before even Fabric started. Back in 2021, the feedback was why are we not shipping as many features as we did before? And a lot of the feedback that you guys are giving us, like Timdo View, bringing Git, required us to do several, like almost multi-year investments to just get those features out the door. You guys don't realize or appreciate maybe how much effort we had to do. Like redefining our file format was a big undertaking, right? Like we had to sit there and plan, and it required so much changes. So I don't think we've also got, we're a 10-year product now. We've just crossed, well, we'll be crossing our 10-year anniversary. Like we just got lots of things that it requires to like spend a lot of time to really think deeply on, because it has profound impact. Like 30 million users plus are using Power BI today. So we have to just be a bit more careful and make sure that we're delivering great features. And so a lot of the features I think we're delivering now have been big asks. And so by nature, it's just taken us a lot more effort. Like the Git integration or the Timdo View have taken a large undertaking from several different teams in Power BI. So I'm hoping now that we've done some of those investments, you'll start to see more rapid pace in more and more Power BI features. And I'm hoping you guys will see that now going into the next 6 months. But I do appreciate that in the last 2 years, you're like, hey, why does it feel like you guys are going slower? Which is understandable if you look at the blog post. It's just the features that we're delivering just consumed and required us to do a lot of investments. And I think you guys have shared such amazing feedback for Git. You guys are so happy with the Git integration. You're so happy with Timdo View. So I'm hoping we are delighting you guys, and I'm hoping we can delight you even more going forward.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. So is there anything else you would like to mention to our audience that I didn't ask about?
Look, I just want, like, I kind of mentioned this just a moment ago. Like, Power BI crosses 10 years today. And for me, like, I started my journey in Power BI before before we GA'd it. So I got to witness the evolution of, like, the growth of the community has been phenomenal, but also just as a leader for the product, for one of the products, or like parts of the product for Power BI, I'm just really appreciative of the community. Like, Reza, you're part of the MVP community. The MVPs have been amazing. Just the user feedback that we get, the feedback that we get on Twitter or X, on Reddit, Blue Sky, where some of you are as well. Like, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the feedback, for you guys keeping us honest, for you guys. I'm okay for you guys to say, hey, we want more visuals or we want more things here. Like, for me, this is how we know we're doing, how we know what we need to prioritize. It tells us what we need to do. And really, I just want to say thank you to all the viewers here. And also, please keep the feedback coming. Like, if you guys see me, like, I try to go to more user group conferences. Happy to join as many as you guys would like me to, and be there present, for you guys to give me feedback directly, or just tag me. My email address is also floating around, and a lot of people know me as well. Like, feel free to share the feedback, and we will do our best to either respond, tell you what we're doing, give you transparency, and I'm hoping we will continually make Power BI a better product than it is today.
Sounds great. Thank you. And we'll also put the link to ideas from down in the below. That is a good place for you if you have any idea about what you would like to see in Power BI or any other parts of Microsoft Fabric. Just make sure that you tag it correctly so that the right team is going to look at it. And of course, we'll put also your LinkedIn URL as well in case people want to reach out. But there are other social media channels as well. Awesome. Thank you for your time, Mo. It's really appreciated. And hopefully we'll have, again, another discussion like this in a few months' time with, again, some more features and updates.
Absolutely. We got a ton coming out very soon. So, Reza, I'm hoping we'll meet soon as well. But thank you for having me, and it's been great being here.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching us. Until the next video. Bye.
Cool. Thank you. Bye.